questions that I get asked all the time, which is funny. Of all the things that people ask me, is how do you get back? Like, how do you get from point A to point B? And then if you walk from point A to point B, and then how do you get back to your vehicle? So I thought I'd take this time to share, because I don't want to fall asleep. So I'm gonna give you the kind of the lowdown on the day and how we did this time. It always varies. So first I will say that all along the AT, and I won't say, I can't speak to the north. I think things are probably a little bit maybe harder up there. I don't know, I shouldn't say that, but down south, along the AT, like, that is one of the ways that people make money, is off the hikers. So the trail towns basically, that, my lips are so chapped, sorry. The towns that are close to the trail, like where you can actually get out, they cater to the hikers. So like, there'll be resupply places. A lot of times there'll even be like a small like gear shop area where like you can even buy stuff like backpacks and sleeping bags and things like that. And one of the big things that they do is they shuttle people. So some people shuttle people for, look, that's how they make their money. That's like part of their livelihood. Some people just shuttle for just because they want to. They're like a trail angel. But, you know, you've got to wait around. Like, you don't even know for sure if you can find one of those. So each town has shuttle drivers that are very well known. And on apps like Far Out app and different things that backpackers use to communicate, they will share that information. They'll share like phone numbers and the name of the person. And like I said, they're like reputable people. They're people that the hikers or backpackers have used like over and over and over and over. So it's not something you have to be afraid of, like getting in a car with a strange person. So this time, however, so that's how we do it a lot of times. And it can be, you know, it can just vary in price. We've paid lots before. So when I say lots, I think on our very first backpacking trip, when Brian fell and busted his head open, and we really wasn't for sure if we were going to be able to continue that trip, which we did, but we weren't for sure. We were out far away from like where our car was. It was just not a normal place to have to be going back. So I think we ended up paying like $70 a person. Like 140 bucks, I think we had to pay, which was ridiculous. But anyway, or we got shuttled, which of course it wasn't as far, but we got shuttled from Fontana Marina this time, because the shuttle wasn't running. So we got shuttled for 4 of us for $8 total. Again, that was like we weren't going far. So anyway, that all just varies, shuttle. I think for us when we originally planned this trip, for us to get back, or to get from Standing Bear Hostel, which is outside the NOC, outside the Smokies, which I don't even know now if we're going to be able to make it there with the weather and stuff. I don't know. We're having to watch that. By the time that you watch this, our trip will be over, and you'll probably already know if we made it or not if we're watching this. But it was like maybe $170, I think, for us to drive or to get a shuttle from there all the way back to the NOC, which is where we parked our car and where we left from. But this time, what we did is, what ended up kind of the way it's all worked out is our friends, so our car was parked at the NOC in North Carolina. Our friend's car were parked in the NOC in North Carolina, and Stanley, or Freight Train's wife, Mama Jane, come to Gatlinburg to just to spend a couple of days, and then to also shuttle, just to help us, give us an extra vehicle. So what we've done is, where are we going? I'm following Brian, and I have no clue where I'm going, so I'm just following him. And he's braking, so I don't know if we've missed the turn. So anyway, she picked us up today at Clean Man's Dome, and we have a place to stay tonight. We're all staying in a cabin together. Like, we got a 3-bedroom cabin, and she picked us up. Me, Brian, and Stanley rode together, took her vehicle, and drove an hour and a half back to the NOC from Gatlinburg. So it's taking us an hour and a half to get from there back to where our vehicles are. So Brian's driving a truck, Stanley's in his wife's car, and I'm back in my car, which is awesome to have my car. It feels really good to be back in my car because I have my stuff in the trunk. So I have like a change of clothes, I have my razor, I got all the things. So I'm super happy just to be back in my own little space. My blanket is in the back, so I'm so excited. So anyway, that's how we've done it this time. So then we'll park our car somewhere. I have no really idea. We haven't even discussed that yet. I'll park my car, and then of course it's going to be a whole lot closer for us. So that's kind of how that works as far as getting back to your vehicle is concerned. And like I said, I had always people ask me that question, and it's honestly one of the things that I don't like about section hiking. It drives me nuts, the logistics of getting it all taken care of and figuring out where you're going and figuring out how to get from point A to point B and finding a shuttle driver and paying the shuttle driver, and because it can be really expensive. So anyway, that's kind of how that goes, and I thought I would just go ahead and cover that, honestly, because I didn't sleep last night, and now I've got this hour and a half drive, and this kind of helps keep me awake. It's the same thing when I'm on trail. I don't like editing videos. I hate editing videos, and I'm like, really, I have 14 huge followers, like big old following, 14 people. So it's definitely not for the fame, because I don't have none. But it keeps me focused on something else for a while whenever, like monotony sets in, or you just need to take your mind off something. I like being able to video, and it just completely takes my mind off what I'm doing. And so I am watching the road. Yes, I am driving and videoing, but I'm watching the road, all those things. So please don't be throwing no hate my way about it. I'm doing it to stay awake. So anyway, that's about it. We are headed back to tell you a cool little thing. We're going through Cherokee, or we went through Cherokee, and we'll go back through Cherokee. I was there a long time ago when my son just texted. I just saw a text from my son that said he passed his test. He's in lineman. Well, he went to lineman school a couple years ago, and he is an apprentice lineman, but he's working on becoming a journeyman, and so he's in a different school through his company that he works for, and he just said he passed his test for the first week of their school. So I'm like, hallelujah, praise the Lord. He's not a studier, but now he has been studying for this. It's important to him, so that's why, and he loves it. Anyway, I don't know, I got off track, but I don't even know what I was saying. But that's what this video was about. It was basically to keep me awake and to just kind of explain how we do this whole shuttle thing, or how we get from point A to point B. But like I said, I don't love that part. I don't like the logistics of trying to arrange all that, and who knows how you're gonna feel. Like one day, like when you're looking at it on paper, a 15-mile day doesn't look that bad, but after you've done it all day and you're climbing huge elevation, then you might be beat and don't want to go that extra 5 miles. Maybe you only want to go 10, maybe you only want to go 12. Some days I've wanted to go on further. So you just never know. And so I think that's the hard thing about section hiking, is you just don't know. It's hard to plan all that. I like being a little bit more spontaneous. So I think that would be definitely one of the things that appeals to me about a through hike is, you've got a deadline, obviously, a time that you want to be finished months down the road, but you also aren't held down to such a strict schedule as far as the day to day. If you're worn out and you want to finish a little bit early, you can, and if you want to continue on, you can. That's another thing that's hard about the Smokies, and it makes it so difficult, is that there's only so many shelters, and you cannot camp. You can't like stealth camp, which is what we do a lot. We don't ever hardly stay at a shelter. So stealth camping is just you're finding a place that looks like a decent camp spot, and you're going to set up there. You know, it could be at a random mile. It doesn't have to be like spaced out evenly between these shelters. But in the Smokies, with the bear situation and stuff, they make you cannot backcountry or you cannot stealth camp. So you have to go from shelter to shelter. So if there's a shelter 5 miles and then the next one's not but 10 miles past that, and you can't go 15 miles that day, then you have to stop at the 5-mile shelter. So it just, the Smokies are rough. They're beautiful, but man, they're hard. And it's finicky. We have some issue with weather coming up, so we're going to have to make some decisions, and I'm probably going to end up not being happy with the decisions that we make. I never, not getting through the Smokies was never an option, but I don't know, with this storms coming in, we can't get out there in storms either. So anyway, that's about it. And the only reason, like I said, I made this was to answer that question of how do you get from point A to point B, and then also this was a good chance for me to do something for 10-12 minutes and take my mind off this boring drive, because that's the last thing I want to be doing right now is driving an hour and a half. Oh, but I was going to say Cherokee. We drove through Cherokee, and I had not been there since I was a kid. That is a cool place. Like, if you're considering going to Gatlinburg, but you've been a bunch, and like, oh, I'm kind of tired of Gatlinburg, you know, I've done it all, but I want to get to the mountains for the fall, go to Cherokee. Cherokee looks so cool. Like, I want to go there. It's almost like what you would imagine Gatlinburg away a long time ago. It's not so commercial, and it's just, I don't know, it's kind of quaint. So anyway, I'm getting into a traffic area, so I'm gonna get off here and catch y'all next time. Bye.